Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. My name is Pat, and today I'm bringing you a Titan build for the Haunted Forest on Destiny 2. Going straight off with the build, we're building off of the Masquerader's helmet. It's the Halloween event. Right now I have the Omnigul helmet on, just because it somewhat matched the color scheme I already had going on with my armor. Threw on some Synthoceps for part of the build, and I'm going to get into that in just a second. Alright, as you can see, we have a high strength stat. This is the base one that you get. You take the ornament off. There it is. Can't take it off. Alright, the base one is just a plain old mask. Right here. I believe it was the Master Raoul is what you start off with. From here, you can add whatever you've collected over the years. If you're a new light player or just new to the game, then you just have to collect these through the chests. You can turn in the chocolate coins to get extra, and every Halloween it's basically the same event. We're remembering those that we've lost over the game. So I'm running this. It kind of looks cool. As you can see, my overall stats right here, I've got a 66 strength, and that's going to play into our super and how we play in just a second. I've got tier 5 mobility, which means I'm decently fast, honestly. Resilience, I typically play like 5 to 6 resilience, and by 5 to 6 I mean 50 to 60 range, so this is actually low for me. I subtracted from my resilience so I could run a higher intellect and strength for the purpose of this build. Recovery is how fast I recover my shield and my health. I always keep this at 5 or higher. Discipline, of course, is how we get our grenades. That's not really playing much into this, it just helps with DPS. There are some mods that I can use that grenades will give me back my strength and my melee ability. Intellect, as you can see at tier 6, our cooldown is at 4 minutes and 18 seconds. That is without getting kills and without doing things to boost our super, i.e. part of the build that I'm going to get to. Actually, you change that. So, our strength stat is how often we get our melee ability, and the cooldown for it is 45 seconds. I can shorten that by doing other things that I'm about to talk about as well. We get to our armor now. So inside the forest, your helmet has these specific perks that you can add on to it. Any of these three here. Higher purpose, I generally do just to play around with because everything gets increased damage. Red bar, yellow bar, majors, bosses, everybody. All three of these, as you can see for the last perk, they each grant heavy ammo and increase the drop chance. Same amount for everyone. Vampiric Touch, you only deal significant damage to challenging enemies. As you can see, all of these say significant. Alright? So it's not like you're trading off damage by coming off of this one. There's just other perks that you can look at for being in there. So this one has increased damage to challenging enemies. When you get precision kills, your health will regenerate faster and immediately, similar to the Suros Regime weapon and catalyst. For Energetic Assassin, precision kills grant grenade and melee energy. That's what I'm doing because my build focuses around melee and getting my super quickly. If you're a Titan main, you already know the super I'm going just based off these stats and the weapon probably. I'm also only going to deal significant damage to the bosses. Everything else is going to be normal. I have an enhanced scatter projectile targeting from the seasonal mod. Instead of having, I believe it's 4 right here, plus it's enhanced, so it would actually be higher than 4 normally. I'm definitely running that because that's going to help with my accuracy with my kinetic weapon. We're going to get to our exotic armor piece, the Synthoceps. So the Synthoceps is a year 1 exotic for the Titans. Yes, sorry. Kind of spaced out for a moment there. Alright. So, the ability is Biotic Enhancements. Increases melee lunge range, improved melee and super damage when you're surrounded. If you've been in PvP, Crucible, Iron Banner, or Trials, more than likely you've ran into these arms either looking like this, or they've looked like this. Now I have a shader on because I just like my armor to match and look good. This is the Bloody Tooth. For the most part, my armor runs on the Valkyrie Zero from the Rasputin season a few seasons back. So with this melee range and damage being boosted up. That's going to play into my super. I'm going to get to that in a little bit. The impact induction mod was what I was talking about early. I need to figure out which... I keep losing my words here, y'all. I'm sorry. I believe it's the solar class is the opposite of this, so that your melee reduces grenade. That's this one. Sorry, everybody. Causing damage with your melee attack will reduce your grenade cooldown. So I'm using my melee a lot. That means I'm going to be popping a lot of grenades. I run pulse grenade. That grenade lets you get a little bit of an AoE, and it pulses out about 5 to 6 times with decent damage. Here's my chest piece. Nothing really, just enhanced unflinching rifle, my kinetic, and my large arms have reserves. That's my heavy weapon. Legs, I just have the arc mod to give me extra mobility, so that I have that high mobility stat. Nothing special there. For my class item, punches are going to give me extra. I was testing this out earlier with a shotgun, but getting too close to people sometimes can be a bad thing. We're going to make this bleeding edge because we're all... Just took that off. I was testing this earlier, so I'm getting a little ahead of myself. I need to paste this a little better. Alright, so that's my armor. As you can see, I'm at 1043. That's because I put on my old favorite heavy machine gun. This is not the curated roll. This is just a random roll that just so happened to have the curated stuff on it. I had to masterwork this myself. Normally, I believe the curated is only 1 for these two, and then it's set for Feeding Frenzy and Rampage. I threw a target adjuster on it so that it wouldn't miss, and as you can see, the shader actually has that moving effect on it like it's in the water. It's because of Blue Shift Dreams. That is a Forsaken Dreaming City mod for whenever you get a curated or a already masterworked weapon drop for you from public events, missions, patrols, whatever. I have the Great White Ornament just because it looks cool. I mean, that's really the only reason I have. My energy weapon is the Truth Teller with auto-loading holster, which means I can just put the weapon away and it'll load itself. Disruption Break means my kinetic weapon will deal extra damage, and quick access means after I shoot it, I can swap to my kinetic much faster. Onto our kinetic is the Monte Carlo auto rifle. It is an exotic weapon that, as we deal damage, will grant us our melee cooldown back. So like I said earlier, the melee cooldown is not set to 45 seconds. That, in conjunction with my helmet, I have insane melee regeneration. So I can just pop it off again, and again. On top of my class item, that's equally generating super energy for me. So you get where this is going. Monte Carlo method, dealing damage, will reduce melee and grants a chance to fully charge your melee ability with each kill. Now that's not just what this does. There's also another perk in the game called Swashbuckler, which is basically this right here, just for an energy weapon. Now this weapon gets increased damage from melee kills and regular kills, just like Swashbuckler. And Rampage also. So Rampage, you just have to get kills with the weapon. This does as well. When I get a melee kill, I also get some ammo back, which is another perk in the game called Grave Robber. You get a melee kill on an enemy and you partially reload the magazine from reserves. Having said all that, let's get down to our super now. Our super is Striker Titan subclass, Code of the Missile. Now doing this, we are going to literally fly through the air and Superman punch our enemies with lightning going everywhere. That's our Thunder Crash super. Whenever our super's full, you'll see me pop it quite a few times during this video. Ballistic Slam is going to be our actual melee that's giving us everything that we need. So we're going to run a little bit, leap into the air, and when we do, I'm going to use my melee, and I'm going to do a miniature version of my super. When I do that, I'm going to get a few things. Inertia Override automatically procs from an update that came out a little bit ago, just by damaging opponents. I'm not certain that I'm going to find a whole lot of special ammo, since I am not spec'd to find extra special ammo or pick up extra, so you might not see this proc as often as I would like. Impact Conversion. When I hit people with my melee, it generates super energy. Everything about this build is generating super energy so I can fly through the air. Every single thing. Now, if you're not trying to run the mask to get the extra candies, another thing you can run is Insurmountable Skull Fort. That is an exotic helmet that when you get melee kills with your ability, not regular melee, you will instantly recharge that ability and you can use it again. On this build, it's a lot of fun for PvE type stuff. PvP, you will not get a instant kill on any Guardian regardless of their resilience unless you have the Synthoceps that I have on now, and that requires, I believe it's 2 to 3 Guardians, 3 Guardians standing together within close proximity. I mean, they have to be able to touch each other with their arms type close. You have to do that and hit them all. Or you can have another exotic called the Dune Marchers, which almost every Titan that actually knows what they're doing will be running this because it makes us faster. We have an insane reach when it comes to the chain lightning. When we do our melee, I believe it's like 20 meters. If you're near the body that we just punched, regardless on if we killed you, it's going to chain lightning to you and you back to them. If you have 2 Guardians, extra Guardians, so 3 again, standing by each other and you use this melee, the chain lightning will kill everyone. I've pulled this off in competitive survival before. It was a lot of fun, and I believe I actually have that video in my video about Code of the Missile in competitive. I believe there's only one. I'll put it in the description with the title of that video. This is the haunted forest during Halloween. Sometimes sometimes people don't load in at the same time. I'm a console player. We have very long load times. As I was saying, sometimes there's extra things you can do here and get what's called tribute points. It's just extra little things you can do in the game, and then you can have those points displayed on your emblem. As you saw in the beginning of the video, you probably saw a gray emblem with pyramids and skulls. Here's the melee. Another melee. Just gotta find an enemy. Start getting the shots off, and you just saw how much melee energy I got back. It's a lot. And now I have my melee back for the next room to pop off again. My bar is right above my ammo. I'm almost a half super already. And we just started. So if you really think about it, this build is super good for clearing out trash ads. You've got Hammerhead. Honestly, with certain heavies, you can just clear the game. You could do, well, not the game. You can clear the forest using only heavy weapons. You just have to put on the right scavenger and finder perks, and you never have to take your heavy off. Last year, I did that exact thing with Thunderlord and Insurmountable Skull Fort. Because after a certain while, I already got everything I needed to. So I was just playing around with exotics, and what I'm doing now is actually part of the playstyle I had, just with different weapons. Here's my finisher. In the game, when you see the little dot here above an enemy's health bar, we can do what's called a finishing move. On console, we can spec our buttons to do whatever we need it to. And so I can't really tell you exactly what I'm doing because it may not help you. Here's our super. Look at that. Instantly killed him. And you see above my super that I generated orbs of light. That happens every time you get a kill with your super and your masterwork weapons. So the little yellow golden outline I had around my weapons earlier says that it's masterwork. I put enough of the resources in to masterwork it. When I get multi-kills with those, they generate orbs of light, which also recharge your super. Everything about this build is just recharging my super. Alright, we got our melee ready. like to find a big clump of them. Look at that. All that damage. Under blackout, that would have just killed me. The little glass, you see a little bit of on my super with Feeding Frenzy and Rampage. Says that my Guardian has less health and shield. Already got my melee back again. Get that pop shot off. Got my melee back again. Just like that. Look, that was a quarter of my super just from that right there. This is a very, very effective thing to do in the forest. I'm playing with 2 random people. No idea who they are, no idea what their builds are. And I guarantee you we're gonna get to 8 or 7. Also, when other people get kills with their supers, they're also dropping those orbs of light to help you get your super back faster. Every floor that we go through in the forest is going to give us a different negative modifier for our guardians to make it a little bit challenging and harder for us. You can also notice in the branch too, where it has a percentage slowly going up. When we kill enemies in here, that bar is going to increase up to 100%, then we're going to fight the boss. That's going to happen until that timer goes out. Once we kill the boss, that timer stops until we start the next one again. You saw us standing in the circle. Now, these daemons, as you can say, or demons, are blocking our path with red doors. The only way to unlock that into a blue door for us to open is by doing one thing, and that's kill them. They're like firewalls, basically. Again, you also saw how much damage I just did with the super. I almost killed that Hydro, just me. Now we have attrition. So, you see the timer's not going off. We stand in here. Once it's finished, the timer will start again. Attrition means that we cannot regenerate our health basically at all unless we kill an enemy and they drop what's called benevolent light. Let's see if I can get some to drop right here. Oop, I just fell off. Something you gotta watch out for while you're in the forest. Thanks, man. Alright, this right here is what's gonna help you get your health back. If that had fallen off, I might have been able to show that. Alright, that little ding meant that the last little demon was killed and the door was unlocked. You see it's from red to blue. That means we can unlock it. Alright, Inertia Override is on the screen for a temporary damage buff. Sadly, they did get rid of multiple damage stacking. I understand why. It just kind of sucks for instances like this where you can just mow down the enemies and get to like the 13th, 14th floor. I did that last season without being able to stack damage, but I also wasn't wearing this mask. I'm not going to leave him alone. He died because he went too far ahead by himself. So now we have to fight different races throughout the game in here. We're already in a place called the Infinite Forest. If you're new to the game, I suggest getting some DLCs and playing Curse of Osiris, because this right here, minus the darkness and pretty much just make this a normal area. There's also strikes where you're in this area. I didn't get my super that round. So the strikes that you do sometimes take you into the Infinite Forest, but you're never going to have it like this where you go to a boss room. Alright. Truth Teller to make the fanatics deal extra damage. That includes my friends. Or in this case, the random people that I'm playing with. I have my super, but I'm going to save it. Now as soon as we start the next round, if there's a large clump of enemies, I can use my super, instantly clear them out, and generate extra orbs of light for my teammates. Grounded. Now when I jump in the air like this, I'm going to take extra damage if they shoot me. So the first perk on your mask would instantly negate grounded. Just so you're aware. Now we have 8 minutes and 2 seconds to get as far as we can now. We're already in tier 4, and the season only requires you to get to 7 to get to a pinnacle reward each week on one character. Alright, doors open. Well, you got 40% just from that one room. And it took us 30 seconds to clear it. Whoop, that's gonna hurt. So those are fanatics. They explode when you hit them. Every race has its own little version of an enemy that's a kamikaze or self-destruct. Fanatics leave these little arc holes of regularian fluid. That's the little stuff inside the Vex. Help out. This, get my melee back a little bit. And there's knights behind me that I didn't see. Alright, he's using a sword. This big guy. Watch out for him since I can see him. When you play this, you cannot hurt that big guy. He's immune to all damage regardless of the situation. It's impossible for you to hurt him. Don't try it. He will mess you up. We'll leave it at that. You also run into him at the very end when this timer runs out. Again, your job is not to fight him. He is underneath a pathway that if you don't step the right way, it'll suck you underneath, and he's gonna fight you. If you make it through the end of the pathway, there will be chests to reward you. Now, since we all died, that did eat away our time quite a bit. So we're gonna have 6 minutes to clear this plus, we'll say 2 to 3 more. And he just fell off the map. Can't say much, I did the same thing earlier. It's all good. This is just a place where we go to hang out, have fun, you know? I'm not about to sit here and berate people or say they're trash or anything like that, because it's not my place. I mean, look at my name. I have my name on here for a reason. Doesn't mean I'm a terrible player. It just means that I'm human and I make mistakes sometimes. So the little red orb around him is a solar shield. Solar weapons would pierce it. Now my super is arc, which is lightning, and my weapons are void, which is shadow, basically. Or I really don't know how to explain that one. So those are the 3 elements so far that have been introduced in the game. Alright, boss time. Alright, this is a Colossus. He's actually extremely beefy for a boss. He's got a lot of health, a lot of defense. Overall, it's just going to take a lot of killing. Now that's another great super, the Burning Maul. Except he's doing the light attack. The heavy attack would have left a flame killer on him and would have really helped with damage. Alright, still got it. With 4 minutes to spare, still. And look, I just finished a weekly challenge just for killing terrorists. Now we have blackout. That means we'd get no mini-map in the top left of the screen. I think it was the left, it might have been the right. Anyway, no mini-map, and when the enemies punch you, it's going to deal significantly more damage. So you don't know where they are, and if they hit you, it's going to hurt. Alright, got a super. Oh, that's the big guy. Gonna have to try and make this quick so no one else runs into him. Look at that, 7 orbs. That's the maximum amount you can generate. Let's try to come this way. Alright, got him. That didn't work. I thought I could go over that. Alright, next pathway. Now we got 5 with 3 minutes remaining. And we're halfway through with this one. Alright, we got fanatics over here, so I'm not going to try and punch them. When I can help it, I try not to punch the guys that self-blow up, because I don't want to die. It's just me. Another thing, if you get too close to them, they'll blow themselves up. However, if you don't damage them, we're not going to get credit for it. So we got 74%. We need 26 more to get to the boss. Another thing you may notice is, I believe the harder the enemy, the more credit you get towards percentage. So of course you got your red bars, but when we have the yellow bars and the demons, I believe it's actually the points. Now we need 10 more points. Alright, that's 100. Go ahead and reload when the boss spawns in. It's over. These guys in the beginning, I believe you saw, they were shooting the lasers out of their eyes. Not too fun. Blackout does mean that if these guys get too close and punch me, I'm basically done for. Coming up pretty soon, all kills we get will, not kills we get, the modifiers will be doubled. So we'll have like blackout glass or something like that, which guarantees that if the enemy punches us, if the enemy punches us, it's instant death. Improved lunge range should activate it right there. Alright, these little blue squares I'm picking up is candy for the event. The candy's used for goodie bags, and the goodie bags can have anything in it. There's the double negative that I took. Glass blackout. I called it. Got it right here in the video. Alright, so 8 would have been great. But, like I said earlier, we ate up our time when all of us died. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. I've already reached my 7, so it's not going to bother me too terrible. I'm going to die. That is one thing that I don't necessarily like about this build, is normally my heavy is a higher DPS weapon. Machine guns, for those that have been playing this, they got a huge nerf when it comes to damaging adds and bosses. They used to be top of the line. Before that, it was like grenade launchers and rocket launchers. That's no longer the case. Get out of here, that big dude's behind me. Couldn't do it. Yep, we're not gonna even make it to 7. So if these two people haven't got to tier branch 7 yet, then that means they're not going to be able to get the emblem that I have on right now. This emblem is by getting to tier 7. You go to bungierewards.net. Super easy. It's free. It's not like you have to pay for it or anything. see if I can get this off. Nope. Dude, just run. Yep. Alright, so since we all died instantly to the end of the pathway, he's hopefully not going to get sucked straight in. Yep. So, down here is where the guy would be waiting for us. So what I like to do, run straight, turn over to the side, jump, here you are. Now by wearing the mask and just playing the game, you're going to get something called a cipher decoder that helps you open these chests, but only so long as you have one decoder for each chest. And see, I can't do anything because I require a decoder. Don't have one. By doing this, you're going to be picking up something called a chocolate coin. Those chocolate coins are used to buy new masks and new looks for your mask. Underneath here is that big, immortal, giant axe guy. Similar to, like, I guess, Nightmare on Elm Street with Freddy Krueger. You know, he's this immortal dude that you can't kill. In the movies, they do, but he always comes back. And now in 15 seconds, I guess we'll find out what the stats were, and you can see overall how this build did. It's actually the first group I've seen stay here. Normally they just return to orbit at the end of this and go do whatever. And there you go. Build speaks for itself. I did die more because this build requires me to be in everyone's faces more. But that's it. I'll be working on more. I believe my next video is a warlock build using grenades, and I haven't decided on my hunter build yet, but I hope you're all looking forward to it, and I hope I can bring it all to y'all within a timely manner. It's been a while. I've been super busy with my job and personal life, so just here to help out and hope all you new light players and other players that are still playing Destiny 2 to this day really enjoy this and maybe try it out for yourselves. As always, I hope you all have a great day or afternoon, and I'll catch you later.